Hello guys, TavHD here and welcome back to another video, and today I thought I would do a full tour of my office. Now in a previous video I have shown my editing setup. I've shown that a few times, most recently a couple of weeks ago, and I said in that video that I would make a full video looking at the entirety of my office, so that is what I will be doing today. And firstly, what you can see is what I see every day when I walk in here. You are currently seeing through the doorway into this room, and the first thing that is there is these two stands with all of my games on. So there are Xbox One games, Xbox 360 games, original Xbox games, PC games, Wii games, PS3 games, PSP games, PS1 games and DS games down there. Now funnily enough, I don't actually play games very often. I've had most of these games for a very long time, but I hardly ever play them, so they kind of just sit here collecting dust. What I do with them, I'm not exactly sure. Who knows, maybe I'll go and trade them all in at CEX and make about 50 pence off them, although I probably won't. I'll probably just keep them just in case I ever want to play them in the future, but keeping them here on display is probably not the best idea. They kind of look ugly and they take up room, so I'll probably just put them in a box somewhere because I don't really need access to them all the time. But that's the first thing. Let's now go into the room where I've got two shelves, that one and that one, so let's go and take a look. Okay, so here is shelf number one. This is one of those metal industrial shelving units. I've had it for quite a long time. I've also got another in my storage room, but right now I just have the one in here, then this wooden unit next to it. As you can see at the bottom, it's just storage. In that brown box is that LaCie Firewire 800 drive, which never did work. In that black box above it, that's all the cheap Apple accessories which I got. I still need to do something with those and work out whether that Apple Pencil works. Above that I've got a stereo, then its speakers are next to it as well. I've also got a tub for batteries, because whenever I need batteries I can never find them. So I thought that if I put them all in a tub together, then I'll have a better chance of finding them. Then next to that you can see there is an Xbox 360 Slim. That is the £7 one, which I have previously featured on the channel maybe 3 years ago. And below that and the speakers is my safe. It's not a very safe because it's not attached to anything and I don't lock it. And it's from Aldi, so it's probably not very secure anyway, but that's just where I keep certain things. Nothing too important, but I just like to have them in some specified place, and that's where it is. I'm not that concerned about the security, but there we are. It was only £20, so you can't really expect much, but I don't lock it anyway, so I don't really think security should be a big concern. The next shelf up is sort of my DIY shelf, if you can call it that. Not everything is currently there. Some things are at my grandparents' house. I'm doing a lot of renovation works over there at the moment, so if there is a lack of videos over the coming weeks, that is why I'm very busy doing all sorts of things there. But my toolbox is there, my drill and also some drill bits. It's just all boring stuff. There's no real need to talk too much about it, so let's just go on to the shelf above. The shelf above is kind of a bit random and it's not even finished. I've recently been doing some organisation, and as you can see I've got a gap. There's just a random little grey basket with a heater in it and my label maker. That won't be staying there. Then next to it there's a hard drive, my Apple badge, as well as some pieces of paper. Not staying there. There's a clock there. Not really going to stay there, it's just there temporarily. And behind that, in those two metal paper holder things, one of them's got paper in it and laminating pouches and sort of printer supplies, and the other's got documentation for my car in it. So the logbook's in there, the service book, all that sort of thing, that is all stored in there. Maybe I should find somewhere better for it, but I know where it is, and I think for now that will do. Above that are a few of my laptops, starting from the bottom right. That is a top-of-the-range PowerBook G4 17-inch. Above that are the two PowerBook G4 15-inches, which I got off eBay. They came destroyed and I got a refund but got to keep them, so they're two destroyed free PowerBooks. Of course I'd rather have two paid for ones which were actually in nice condition and worked properly, but I won't say no to free ones, so that is that. Now on the left at the bottom is another PowerBook G4. That one was £10. Haven't got that one working yet, but there will be more videos about that soon, hopefully. We'll hopefully be changing the hard drive out to see if that is the problem, but it also has some weird graphical artifacts going on, so we'll have to look into that too. Above that is my late 2009 polycarbonate MacBook, and above that is the Axiotron Modbook. Now I can't fit all of my laptops in here, so this is just some of them. I might move them in the future, or I might rotate them around to have different ones in here. It just depends on how I'm feeling at the time. Above that, I know it kind of looks disorganised, but I've got a few sets of drawers. So in the ones on the left, I've got phone and tablet cases, as well as headphones and some cheap nasty speakers. Then below that is microphones and accessories for microphones. In the next unit along, we've got SATA cables, USB plugs and phone chargers. We've also got watches and their accessories, both analog and digital watches, as well as a Fitbit in there as well, and below that is where I store external drives when they're not in use. In the final set of drawers is smartphones, iPods, mobile phones, radio players and handheld gaming and tablets. I made those labels quite a long time ago. Not everything in there actually conforms to those labels, but as a whole it kind of does make sense now. Of course, up there is still the 2012 Mac Mini. I've still not got round to selling that, so it's just up there collecting dust, although I will give it a clean before it does get sold. My Creative Pebble V3 speakers are up there. I've got nowhere to set them up permanently, but when I do use them, which is quite often, I just get them down from there, plonk them on my desk and listen to whatever I'm listening to. And in that grey basket, which is just up there, is just some PC components. I think there's some power supply, graphics card cables, some screws, maybe an SSD, I'm not too sure. Just random bits which don't really have anywhere else to go. Okay, so now this is my other storage unit. Again, it's not particularly tidy. It's a lot better than it has been, but it's still not looking great. If I just give you an overview, that all looks pretty neat until you get to there. That's just all my camera things and laptop cases just plonked there. Then above there isn't too bad, and then up there is some Apple boxes. Could be neater, but for now it will do. So let's start at the bottom. What do we have here? Starting at the bottom of there, there's just random crap. There's power cables, video cables, laptop chargers, cable management, VHS tapes, CDs, cassettes, CD-ROMs, random stuff again, thermal paste and stationery. It is all organised with all the things that can be. The random stuff is just random, but everything else is organised and labelled, so I do know where the majority of things are. And continuing up to the next shelf, those things are also organised. So as you can see, networking, USB cables and accessories, audio, hard drives, SD, USB, plugs, phone chargers, mice and archive drives. Everything is organised, and also there's some CDs in that little pouch there as well. Then, as I've already said, up here is all my camera things, all my accessories are up there, laptop bags as well. My other filming light is up there, and so is my Panasonic Lumix FZ82. I don't use that much, but it is up there for if I want to use it. So I do need to come up with a better solution for this shelf. I might move these things into my storage room and put other things on here. I've just not yet decided. And going up again to the next shelf, it's mostly random things. I think there's computery things in that. That's random. Old printer there and a wooden car. That's pretty much it. Going up again, as I've already said, just Apple boxes. Some of those have got things in, others don't. So that was all pretty boring stuff, but now we can get onto my main setup. And over there is also my editing setup, which I've already done a full video about, so I won't be going into depth into that. I'll just link the other video I did in the description for if you haven't seen that. So we will mostly be focusing over on this part of the room. So I'll be starting from left to right, and let's first start at the bottom. Down there is the gaming PC with the i5 2500K. I hardly use it, but it's under there. It looks pretty cool under there. I do like the half X a lot. The main reason I bought the case was just to look at it. I wasn't particularly interested in building a computer in it, but of course I did, and it's a pretty cool computer with dual graphics cards. It's got two GTX 760s in it, not powerful cards at all. The computer's not powerful at all, but it looks cool, and that's all I really cared about with that machine. Now if we go back up to the top of the desk, you can see my printer is hiding over there. That is of course the Epson Xp 3100. I made an unboxing video about 2 years ago. That's now got a lot of views, over 70,000 views I think. And of course more recently I installed a chipless firmware thanks to Inkchip on it. It's working perfectly fine as I speak, and I don't really feel a need to upgrade that printer anytime soon. In the past I've had to get a new printer every year or so because something's gone wrong with it, but so far this has been going for nearly 2 years I think, and I've had no problems with it. And on top of that is just an elephant, because why not? Moving along slightly, you can see one of my speakers there, and the other one is over there. Those are Logitech Z200s or Z220s. I will put that up on the screen. I always get confused. Again, had them about 2 years. I think I got them for my birthday. Quite cheap, about 20 or 30 pounds depending on where you get them as well as when you get them. But they are pretty good for the price. When you mess around within Windows and boost the bass and do a few things, they do end up sounding pretty nice. And I've got no intention of upgrading them. The only problem is that the two speakers are connected together, hardwired, and you can only take them a certain width apart, and that width is only just enough for both of these 27-inch monitors. When I had my three 1080p 24-inch displays, it really was a struggle to stretch them enough to fit. I managed it. They're managing now. If I wanted to get a third one of these monitors, which I might do in the future, these speakers just will not be able to do it. They're great speakers, but the cable just isn't long enough, so I would have to give up these speakers and get something else if I wanted another monitor. Now I'm not too sure whether I do want another monitor. I kind of do, but I don't really need it. I'll just have to see how it goes. And speaking of monitors, these are the two monitors I am using. These are both identical 27-inch 4K monitors. They are the LG 27UL 500s, and you can probably see they are not on their original stands. These are the two monitor arms that I use on my outer two displays on my old triple display setup. For a while I had these on their normal stands, but they were a bit too low and they like to squeak a lot and they were kind of wonky. I couldn't get them to go straight, so I just thought, screw that, get out these monitor arms. I did, and now it looks a lot better. The monitors are aligned. They do kind of wobble, but they don't squeak. So I'm a lot happier with that, and of course I can adjust the height so they are exactly how I want them. But my desk is the IKEA Lin one. This is the 2-meter one, only about £12, so it's not going to be particularly sturdy, so I do worry that the desk is going to snap in half with these monitor arms on, but so far they seem to be holding up pretty well on this desk, and yeah, I think I'll be keeping it like this for a while. You should be able to see hiding under my monitor is a Google Home Mini, not a Nest Mini or whatever they're called now. This is one of the old ones which was branded as a Google Home Mini. I've had this a couple of years. I got it in Curry's for half price. I bought it, liked it, and bought another one for downstairs. So I've got two of these currently in my house. I hardly ever use it. All I really use it to do is turn on and off the lights on the back of my desk, but it's here. It was only about £15 and it does what I want it to just fine. Moving along, you can see my Belkin wireless charger. It's currently got my iPhone 8 Plus on it, just charging it up. Moving over, here's my Galaxy S20 Plus. That is my main phone. I've had that maybe 1.5 years, maybe closer to 2, I'm not really too sure. This mouse mat has blue going around it. It's RGB, you can change the colour. I made a video about it probably again about 2 years ago. It's by Rewall. I don't actually know if they still sell it or not, but everything that I talk about in this video I will try to link down below, both the products on Amazon and the videos that I made about them, if I have made a video about them. Something I definitely did make a video about is the Corsair K55 keyboard. I've currently got it set to a nice light blue colour. Had this keyboard about 2 years. I did make a video about it. Great keyboard. I do a lot of typing on this setup and it does exactly what I need it to do. It was about £50, and as far as a £50 keyboard goes, it's pretty decent. Of course, it's not mechanical. It's meant to feel like it's mechanical. Whether it does or not is up for discussion. I'm not that bothered about mechanical keyboards. I like the way this one feels and it's nice to type on, so that's the keyboard I use, and I've got no intention of upgrading it. Now the mouse that I use is over here. This is the Logitech G402, I believe. I made a video about this about a year ago. It will be linked below. Great mouse, does everything I need it to, not had any problems with it yet. And of course the colour of it matches my setup, being black with the glowing blue on it. You can't change the colour of the light on this, but it doesn't bother me because that's the colour I would have set it to anyway. Moving along a little bit, you can see the Behringer UMC22 audio interface that is plugged into an XLR cable, which I can then plug my microphone into. My microphone's not currently in this room, but the XLR cable is, and the microphone I use is the one I made a video about nearly a year ago. I will put the name up on screen, I can't really remember it, and the video will also be in the description if you want to see that. This is a great audio interface. It's about £30 and it does what I need it to. It's got two inputs, one for a microphone, one for something else. I only use one input, but yeah, it does what I need it to, and it does it pretty well. Moving on, here is my computer. This is in a Be Quiet Pure Base 500 case, I believe. It's a Ryzen 5 3600, RX 580, and 16GB of Vengeance RGB RAM, and all that sort of thing. It's not particularly powerful, but it gets the job done. Of course, RX 580 is an old graphics card now. I did intend on getting a new graphics card about a year ago, but I still can't find any new graphics cards for reasonable prices, so I've still got this. It still does everything I need it to do. I don't do anything graphically intensive on this computer really. I only play a few games. I play them in 1440p, and yeah, I've got no problems with this card. Sometimes it gets a bit loud, but it is what it is. I've changed the thermal paste on it before, didn't film it, but I have done that, and that did improve the thermal slightly. But yeah, it's an old card, but still pretty capable and does what I need it to do. On top of there is just an SD card reader, as well as a DVD drive, as well as a cheap IKEA plant. I've got a few of those, but I think only one is currently on the desk. There's also another plant there that's not from IKEA, but it is also fake. Below the desk, just down there, are my headphones. They are the, I don't know what they're called, I'll put it up on screen. I think they were £5 off Amazon. I'm guessing that was a mistake, but they granted that price and I got them for £5. I think they're by One Audio. I did make a video about them earlier in the year, so that will be linked below. They were only £5, so of course you can't really comment too much on the audio quality. I think they're meant to be about £50 and they sound pretty decent. Will I pay $50 for them? Probably, but I would probably have to do some more research on other models. But for £5, absolutely, they are the best £5 headphones I've ever listened to, although that's not really saying much. Next is my editing setup. I've already done a designated video about this, so that will be in the description. So I'll just do a quick overview. MacBook Pro 2015 Retina baseline 15-inch, that's what I edit on, connected to a 20-inch cinema display. It does everything I need it to just fine. I've got the wireless trackpad and keyboard, both first generation, so they do require batteries. That's why I've got loads of batteries in my battery box, although I haven't changed the batteries in that yet. I really do need to. All my hard drives are just over here too. There they are. I need to get another one, of course, but I'm sure you're sick of hearing about that. My camera battery charger is up there. There's an SD card and a MagSafe 1 to 2 adapter as well. You've got to just ignore the cables. The cables aren't long enough from my hard drives to my computer, so it's kind of a mess underneath. Cable management is pretty decent, apart from those dangling cables from the cinema display which are hardwired in, and there's not really much I can do about them. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that setup. And that is also pretty much it for this video. That's all I've got to show you. In the past I've had more desks in here and more things set up, but that is not the case anymore. I've had to move things around and put most of my things into my storage room where they can't be set up in the future. I would like to set them all back up again, either in here or in a different room, but that's just not possible at the moment. I've had to compress things just onto these two desks and those two storage units, which you have already seen, or if you would want to see my storage room in the future, please do let me know. It's an utter mess. I really need to sort it out. It makes me sad every time I go in there because it's just an utter dump. But if you would like to see in there, please do let me know. But that will now be it for this video. Hopefully this was interesting in some way, just to see where it is that I spend so much time making these videos. Of course, I often film on this desk, and I also do film on the other desk too, and of course that's where I edit, and this is where I do pretty much everything else computer related. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully it was interesting in some way, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.